So I always hear people utilizing the word genetics as an excuse as to why their hair is not healthy and why it's not retaining any length. And in my opinion, outside of people who are experiencing autoimmune diseases and things like that, obviously like extreme cases, for the vast majority of people, it's not genetics. It's not to say genetics don't play a part to an extent, but most of the times it's not genetics. It's your poor hair practices. Yes. We all know that the kinkier, curlier, coarser, whatever, dry your hair is, the more work it requires. You cannot just go to sleep and not wrap your hair every night and expect to get anywhere. You cannot go swim in chlorine and go for a few days without washing it and think everything's okay. You cannot not moisturize your hair and expect to get anywhere. Knowing this, a lot of people still choose to be lazy. And yeah, in my opinion, it's laziness. And, for some people, it's just a lack of understanding, really, of how hair works, especially textured hair. So I made a live video giving my opinion on people who like to utilize genetics as a cop-out. And you should go watch it right now. Also, I wanted to say, there are about 3 things that are keeping the vast majority of you from making any progress in your hair journey. I would say your hair envy and your discontent with who you are and what you look like and what you have is holding you back. Because you're too busy trying to manipulate and turn your hair into something that it's not, that you're depriving it of what it needs. And as a result, it's not getting to where it could be. Number 2, I'm going to give number 2 to being inconsistent. This goes for anything you do in life. You cannot expect to do something once or twice and immediately be where you are. When you meet goals, our larger goals are usually made up of a million tinier goals that we do over time. You need to fall in love with the process. When you get past that hair envy and insecurity, low self-esteem, because that's really what it is. I talk to women all day. And for a few of them, a lot of them, it is convenience. Well, I don't want to say a lot. I would say maybe 40% of people, they are constantly weaving and protective styling, hiding their hair because of convenience, or they genuinely have a purpose. When they meet me, they have purpose for their hair. They discover purpose. But for, I would say the majority, a lot of people are trying to keep up with the Joneses or be something they're not. And this is this is me speaking from my professional experience. So when you finally get past that season of being discontent and you finally do love your hair, you fall in love with the process. You appreciate your hair and you're willing to put in the 5 minutes or whatever it takes you to complete your routine. And over time, you get to where you're going. It's not going to happen overnight. Some results do appear to be instant, but to reach that big goal, it doesn't happen overnight. And I'm going to go ahead and give the third to being impatient. Because generally, I feel like that's the next thing. You know, you find something that works, you see it working, but you're impatient, so you go and do something else. You give up too quick. And I see that all the time. I shaved my head 2 years ago. 2.5 years ago. I had to go through at least a year and a little bit more than a year and a half before I started to be able to look decent. That was a whole year and a half plus of being in a very awkward growing out stage. And a year and a half is a significant amount of time, but it passes by quick. And a lot of you, all it would take is like a month to 3 months of just trying something differently for you to get to a place where you could be comfortable. But you're not even willing to put that month to 3 to 4 months in, and you go right back to what you were doing before, and you're not getting anywhere. So this is why I beg to differ. Most of the time, it's not genetics, it's you. Every time your little hair grows out of its scalp, you don't even give it a chance to get anywhere. And again, most of the times it's not genetics, it's you. And I have to say that because I'm not going to be on here giving you, I'm not going to tell you a lie. I have no reason to lie to you. I have no reason to lie to you. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm just trying to give you a different perspective. Because when I see people look at things from this perspective, I'm telling you, any of my clients you see who actually make progress, they don't fall into these categories. They don't subscribe to these. They don't have these problems. They get past that. Everybody else, which is the vast majority, they're looking for that quick fix, and they don't get anywhere. And either you're going to think, if you'd like to get somewhere, if you'd like to make actual progress, you need to start thinking long term. Seriously. Either you can keep, obviously, I'm a weaveologist, okay? Weave expert. Yep, I'll self-proclaim weave expert. My work speaks for itself. I've been doing weaves forever. Like, I don't do all the advanced frontals and all these trendy things because I don't like it. But I know the ins and outs of weave. And I love weaves. I love weaves when done right. I love weaves when used purposefully, intentionally. But in the same breath, I can also say, y'all need to stop using weaves as like, I don't even know, like some freeze-on? Is that what you put in your car when your air conditioner is running out when you really need to go get it fixed? Stop putting these band-aids on and really address the problem. Because what's going to happen, and I actually wanted to make a YouTube about this because I'm all into finances and stuff. Suppose we hit a recession tomorrow. How many of y'all, if you literally couldn't afford to get a weave done, I know some of y'all will sell y'all last everything just to do a weave because you're bald-headed underneath. And I'm not trying to be funny, but I have to say this because I don't think people understand. I sound like my last video. I don't think y'all understand the complexity of this. Some of y'all cannot be seen without a weave. And that's a problem. So what are you going to do if the resources run out, if the bundles stop coming in, if there was no more weave? What are you going to be left with? Traction alopecia? Or are you going to have some hair under there? You need to start thinking long term, or you're going to be bald-headed in the long run. And I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to be rude. But I don't understand, like I said before, traction alopecia, it don't happen, and it never happens overnight. You're never permanently like just bald-headed. Generally, you can ask any woman with no edges, who has just no edges, like she's done for. They saw it coming and they did not stop, and that's what got them to that point. Do yourself a favor. Keep a hair journal. And I know it's like, oh my God, is it that deep? Yeah, it's that deep. Hair is important. If it wasn't important, people wouldn't be spending all this money on waxing, microblading, lashes, weaves, color, cut. Hair is a big part of our beauty regimen. It's huge. It's not just hair, because if it was just hair, it wouldn't be $1 billion industry. So you need to start asking yourself, is what I'm doing today really worth where I'll be? Because I have women who are 60 and 50 and 70 coming in here. 50 ain't even old, honestly. So I have women who are at the turning point, bald-headed. You know, their hair's not going to bounce back and recover as quick as it used to when they were mistreating it. And now, when it's all said and done, you're left with nothing. So you need to start asking yourself, what's more important to me? My natural beauty or this mask and this facade that I'm trying to put on? Now, I'm not saying makeup and weaves are all a mask and facade, but for everybody. But for a vast majority of people, it is. Because for you to have allowed your edges, you watch them constantly, your hair being extracted from its follicles, and you continue to go. That speaks to something deeper than that. That speaks to something that's different. That's not just, oh, I just wanted to weave convenience. No. That's a self-love issue. And I'm not trying to be all deep, but I had to bring this to your attention, because I guarantee you, if you start looking at these other areas and stop focusing so much on genetics and take some responsibility, you will see a difference. You have to face the truth, and you have to compose a plan, and you have to put action in place. All right, everybody, I'm out. Bye. By the way, when I said keep a hair journal, if you have to document, like, oh, yesterday I put in this so-and-so and all of my edges came out, make note of it so that at least you know what the culprit was, what the cause of it was. If you have to do that, then you do that. And also, I realized I left a hole when I said I have women come in who are older, I've also noticed something interesting. Now, some people have naturally thin hair, and I'm not speaking for these people. Again, some people have autoimmune diseases and things like that. But I've noticed a difference between the older women who come in who don't have much experience with wearing weaves and braids and doing too much to their hair versus the ones who did a lot of that in their youth. The ones who come in here past 50 and up with like a whole lot of hair, beautiful hair, they don't have that much experience with the weaves, but the ones who generally come in here on their last strand, that's all they did. And this, I'm not saying this is science, I'm not saying this is actual factuals, this is just based on my own observations. What I wanted to, I brought that up because my point was, you don't want to hit that point and be left with nothing, because our bones, our hair, our bodies do change, and they do get to a point where they're not going to snap back like they used to. And you don't want to be that lady left with wigs. Y'all know which old ladies I'm talking about. Oh, look. Oh, that was that old. Ah! Oh my God. Oh my God, my hair is literally caught. I rebuke it in Jesus' name. I'm not going to stop finishing what I'm saying. It's like people who ain't got no teeth. You know, people whose teeth rot and deteriorate over time. Generally, people, when they put in a lot of work in their youth, or they put in work in their youth, they are attentive of it in their youth, they have less problems when they get older. So that's all I'm saying. Let me know what you guys think. I'm always open to opinions, constructive conversation, dialogue, you know. Let's talk. If you'd like to learn a bit more about how you can compose a solid hair care regimen for yourself, either at home or here in the salon, please email Sydney@sitandpretty.com so we can talk, get some more information about you as an individual and the characteristics of your hair. so that we can set you up and get you started on your healthy hair journey.